Hi everybody, Kevin Marsteller here. I am the creator of the Web Bureau project on GitHub. Web Bureau aims to be an alternative to WordPress for any developer which has any form of custom content. While WordPress works great for basic blogs and websites with a limited number of static pages, it doesn't work too well for those with custom content types. This isn't to say that you can't make some beautiful, highly functional sites with WordPress, but rather that you have to hack your way through it in order for them to work. Web Bureau is a highly modular system that allows for complete customization of your website's display and functionality. It's far from complete, but I hope this video walkthrough will help to build support for the project. Let's start with basic requirements. To run Web Bureau, you will need an Apache web server with PHP 5.3 or higher installed along with MySQL 5.1 or higher. In order to access your database, you will need the PHP MySQL I extension. Additionally, you will need mod rewrite access. Most hosting solutions provide these versions at a minimum. I know my own shared hosting provider provides PHP 5.4, so there shouldn't be any problems. Finally, as of now, you will need to have short tags enabled for PHP. To install the system, you will want to FTP the files into your website's root directory, or you can do a git clone command if you're comfortable with the command line. Afterwards, navigate to install.php and follow the on-screen prompts. At install.php, there are a few questions that you will need to answer in order to set up your system properly. Where is your database located? For most of us, this is going to be localhost. If it's not, you probably know exactly where it's going to be. New database or existing. If you have an existing database with content already set up and ready for the Web Bureau project, great, you can use that. Otherwise, select New DB, and you will need to provide your root username and password. This is only used to create your new database. It is not saved anywhere on your server and it's not sent anywhere else. Once the install script is done, it's thrown out. So we'll go ahead and provide that. Now you will be asked to enter your database login credentials. Since we're setting up a new database, you can use whatever you would like. We'll use the defaults along with a random password. And finally, enter login credentials for our admin account. Clicking Install System. And as you can see, a number of modules were installed. Users, paging, files, menu, layout, tables, modules, and themes. Each one of these is a core module that is essential to how the Web Bureau system runs. I'll be going through each one of these individually, and as you can see, a user account has finally been set up. So let's go to our home screen and see what we have to work with. Pretty bare. Well, let's log in with the credentials that we set up for ourselves and see what we can do. Well, a new menu option is set up and it's called Modules. Let's see what's there. Modules is the center of administration for Web Bureau. From this screen, you can see we can install new modules, and I'll do another video later showing custom module development, as well as install missing rights. Each of the core modules is smart enough to know which rights it requires in order to function properly, and report which rights, if any, are missing. As you can see, we have a few rights missing right off the bat for tables. We'll ignore these for now, as well as a right to administer the themes module right here. Clicking the button, the system would like to know who to assign this new right to, and we have 3 groups listed: admin, guest, and registered users. As this is an administrative right that we're setting up, we'll only assign this right to the admin group. And it's saved now. Now, there are some things that are presently missing from the page. The ability to add custom widgets, I'll go over widgets in a second, as well as modifying the slug of any individual module. This will be added to the project soon as well. I will be able to show you a workaround when we get to it later on in this walkthrough. Let's set up the basic layout of our site by going to Layout Administration. From here, you can see our layout has 5 areas, and each section can hold any number of widgets. A widget is a simple modular piece of code that will do a specific task on the site. As you can see right now, we have a centered menu widget, which shows this bit right here. We have login and welcome widgets, as well as a main content widget that's currently displayed. The main content is actually this entire bit. As you can see, our right sidebar and footer areas do not hold any widgets, and so if you look into the source code of this page, you will see that we have header, left sidebar, and main content divs set up. However, the right sidebar and footer are missing. So the system is smart enough to know that if an area is not being used, to simply not display it. Now, you'll also notice that they were all set up as divs. No HTML5 elements were being used, such as the header or footer elements or the nav or sidebar areas. I plan on adding support to apply whichever element you would like for a given area at a later point. It's just not there now. Let's make a few quick changes here. First off, let's add the personalized theme widget to our left sidebar. It's pretty simple, just click Add To and left sidebar. Let's also add a vertical menu to our left sidebar. And we'll add the additional rule here that we only want to display this in the admin section. We'll set it up so that when we are in the modules area, the admin section, we will display a vertical menu on the left sidebar. However, if you are anywhere in the public section of the site, the centered menu will still display. So first off, let's set up the vertical menu. We'll click this edit icon here. And here we can set the widget restrictions. Our restriction type will be either blacklist or whitelist. In this case, we want to whitelist our restrictions to only modules. So the system will know only show our vertical menu if we're in the modules area. Now we'll go into centered menu and we'll again go to edit. And this time we'll set a blacklist. We only want to show the centered menu if we are not in the modules section of the site. Go ahead and set that. Save the layout. Layout has been saved. And the next time that we load this page, the new layout will be there. The personalized theme widget will display if applicable. Our vertical menu will display when we're in our modules area, and the center menu will disappear. Now, regarding static text, sadly, support for this isn't present yet. However, that is the next feature that I'll be adding, so look out for that. Now let's refresh the page. And you can see we have our modules and tables showing up, our menu showing up vertically on the left, and our center menu did disappear. Our personalized theme widget is not displaying, but that's because we haven't actually set up any custom themes. Now we can do that by going over to Themes Administration. As your layout builds the actual HTML structure of your site, your themes control your CSS. The core CSS is very minimal for a reason. The less styles there are, the easier it is to customize. Now from themes, you can see there are no themes currently defined, but we can add our own theme. let's set up a very basic one. We'll call it Halloween. Create new theme. And we can enter our CSS. We'll make this very basic, and we'll set the body up so that it has a background of orange, text of black. If you'd like, you can set this to the site default theme, and doing that will make this theme the theme that everyone sees whenever they go to the page if they haven't done anything to modify it for themselves. The layout module, if you have any custom layouts set up that extend the layout, that maybe use that set up the structure in a different way, you can set something different, but for now we'll just keep it at layout. And finally, save the theme. Great, it's been saved, and we can return to theme administration, and you can see that it's been set. Now that we have a theme, you'll see that we now have our change site theme, that is the personalized theme widget, and our options are the site default, which is currently nice, plain, or we can change it over to the Halloween widget, and we'll go ahead and use that theme. Great. And we'll just play around with this a little more. We'll add another one. We'll call this one Coder. Create a new theme, and this will be pretty basic as well. Background of black with color white, and save the theme. Now if you look over with our widget, it's been updated, so we can select the Coder theme as well, and we'll use that theme, and here we go, we have white text on a black background. We'll just go back to the site default for now. One last thing that we need to do before we're done with our themes is allow our users to select these themes. Returning to the modules page, you can see that the themes module has two new rights to create and assign. You can see that they're called Selection View Coder Theme and Selection View Halloween Theme. So let's go ahead and assign these rights. And this way, if your themes are all set up and you want to expose them to the rest of the world, you can go ahead and assign these to whoever you'd like. If you'd just like to use these for testing purposes, only allow other admins to use them, or maybe registered users, or maybe if your system is set up so that registered users are given special status and they're able to play around with the CSS, you can go ahead and assign them to them. But for now, we're just going to assign this right to all users. And we'll do the same thing for Halloween as well. So now that that's done, we'll need to create some content. To do this, we'll go to the Tables module. From here, you can see there's already a number of tables set up. Even admin settings can be modified from this module, so it is really powerful. However, we won't want to use any of these tables as actual content, so let's create a new table. We have a pretty basic prompt here to create a new table. For those who aren't too great with database administration, but are comfortable with WordPress, consider this screen your custom post type setup screen. This is the biggest advantage Web Bureau has over WordPress. While WordPress stores all of its custom post types in two tables, and you can see right here there's the WP post and WP meta table. With Web Bureau, each custom content type is its own table, and this results in faster queries and therefore for faster load times. Our table name is essentially our custom type, and we can add as many fields as we would like. I'll add 4 fields for a basic pages table. We'll start off with an ID. Every page should have an ID. For our field type, for this case we'll set it to int. Again, going over the basic types for those who may not know. Int stands for integer. Float means it's going to have a decimal. Money is specifically for those money fields that you may have. Dates are for a date specifically, date time if you want to add in a time value as well. Varchar stands for variable character, so if you have any sort of text that could have any number, any given length, you might want to select that. And finally we have text, which really should only be used for very large text fields that you may have. In this case we'll set our ID to an int, and for extra we will select is auto increment, which means that we don't have to worry about actually setting the value. The database will know what to do. We'll add another field, and this we'll call title. Each page should have a title, and we'll set this to a varchar with a maximum length of 30. So any page title has to be 30 characters or less. Next we'll add some content, and for this we'll set a field type of text. It can be as long as we want. And finally we'll add a meta description, and this we'll use with our meta fields. And we'll set this to a varchar of max length 200. So when we set up descriptions for this page, we'll have to keep it to 200 characters or less. Finally, we add table rights. It's pretty basic setup. Again, you have a listing of each group that you have: admin, guest, and registered users, as long as each of the different actions that you may perform on this table. So add, edit, delete, and view. Admins, we want to be able to do whatever. And guest and registered users, we want to at least see the table, so we'll go ahead and create it. Now that our table is created, we'll want to add some actual content. So first thing is we'll add a record, and we'll call this the home page. Right? Every website needs to have a home page. And we'll use for our content, we'll grab some lorem ipsum text. And save that there. And for our meta description, we'll just set it up to this is a home page. Save. Great, and it was successfully saved. I don't know if you were paying attention to the URL, but now we're at pages/1 because this is the first page that we have. Now let's go back and we can add another record, and we'll call this about us. We'll again add some more lorem ipsum text and a description of this is the about us page. It was saved, and so now you can see that we have a basic 2 pages, home and about us, some content and a description. And with this, let's take a look at how things look from the tables page for the user. Alright, so we have content there, but it doesn't look like any actual page now, does it? So to do that, we'll be editing the table info. So to access our table info, we'll go back to our tables module, into our pages, and click here to edit table info link. As you can see, there are 2 sections, display meta and meta tags, and these will be used to display to determine how our pages records will display to the end user. The slug is the slug for the tables, the pages table in general. We don't want it to actually say /pages/home or anything like that. We just want to go /home, right? So in that case, we'll uncheck this checkbox. This checkbox means to use the site default, which in this case will always be the table name. And by leaving it blank, the Web Bureau will be smart enough to know to go straight to the title of our page. Short display, this will be the slug for the individual record. In this case, we want our slug to be the title of our page. So we will wrap title within curly braces, anytime you use curly braces within display meta, the Web Bureau will be smart enough to know to look up that field and replace the curly braces with the actual value there. So in this case, our short display will be home or about us. Preview display before, during, and after. We don't have to worry about this right now because realistically we won't actually have a preview of our home screen. We'll just go straight to the home screen. Our full page display, we'll just use the source for this quickly, and we'll set an H2 tag and use the title, and we'll follow that up with the actual content. And again here, when the page actually displays, the site will know to wrap the title within an H2 tag and follow it up with the content. As long as you use these curly braces, you're fine. Link back to the table. This basically is asking if we want to display a link back to the page's records from an individual page. In this case, we don't want to do that, so we'll make sure that this is completely unchecked. Row display max is used again for preview purposes. We don't really have to worry about it. Finally, we have detailed menu options. If this is checked off, then when we go to edit the menu later on, every single record for this table, for the pages table, will become an option for selection. Finally, our meta tags. We set up a meta description earlier, right? So we can add that here. If you want to add anything for keywords, go ahead, feel free, but we don't have any. And if there's any other meta tags that you want to use, open graph tags, things like that, feel free to add those. We'll save the table settings, and the table metadata was saved. Now let's see how things look again. Okay, so we're still missing one thing, and that is direct links to these pages. So for that, let's check out our menu. Here's a basic menu setup screen. From here, you can select from any of the available modules that are here. In this case, users, files, tables, modules, and themes. And here are the actual menu items. So you can see everything that appears over here on the right appears in our actual menu as well. So since what we are interested in is specific to the tables module, we will expand that. And you can see we have home and about us options. So let's go ahead and add the home and about us, and we can get rid of tables. We'll add home to the top, and about us we'll add over there as well. And modules, just for clarification, we'll change the name of this to admin. Great. Save the menu. The menu has been saved, and the next time that we load up any page, our menu will be refreshed with our home, about us, and admin menus. Refreshing the page now, and you can see here are our home, admin, and about us menus. Let's check out our home page. And great, we have it says home with all that lorem ipsum text. And if you view the source, if you go into the head section, here it is, meta name description. This is a home page. And if you go into the about us section, again, it's the about us page. And if you look at our URL, we're at tables/about us, and our meta says this is the about us page. So everything in terms of looking is exactly how we wanted. The last thing that we want to do is get rid of this ugly tables at the beginning. We really want it to just be /about us, right? So this is what I was talking about in terms of settings your slugs on an on-module basis. For now, we can go straight to the tables section and edit the modules table in order to get rid of this tables slug. So here we go into tables, and we'll select modules, and we'll select the tables module. So here you can see all the information that we store about this, the tables module. It's called tables. It handles database tables. It is a core of the database. The file name, this is the specific file on the server, and the class name. Again, these are things that realistically you don't need to be playing around with. You probably shouldn't, otherwise you could break some stuff. Right here, cue the Uncle Ben with great power comes great responsibility speech. Really, all we're interested in is our slug, and just like we used an empty slug for the pages table, we want to use an empty slug for the tables module. Let's save that record. Great. And now if we go to click on the home screen, home option, great, we're at bureau.staging/home. There is no pages, it's nothing, it's just our website / about us. The last thing that we may want to do is for the home page, you don't want it to be at /home, you want it to just be at your actual home page, right? So finally we'll go back into tables, and we'll go into pages, edit our home record, and we'll just clear out the title. The data has been saved, great. And clicking on home. Now I don't know if you noticed this, but each time that I've updated these slugs, everything is updated automatically. I haven't had to go on back into the menu to reset everything. It's just smart enough to know that the home page belongs to a specific record as opposed to a specific URL. But here we go, we can click on home, and great, our home page is our home page. And just to show you, we'll inspect, and here we go. This is the home page. Let's add one more bit of content, a sponsors table. We'll go back to the tables module, add a new table, and set up sponsors. And let's start adding some fields. Again, you always want to set up an ID field, or you almost always. There are some cases, but you don't have to worry about those. Each of our sponsors will have a name. We'll give them a maximum length of 30. We'll assume that no one has a name longer than 30 characters. A short description, which we'll be able to show on a preview page. And we'll set this up as a varchar length 500. And a long description, which will be a full text field. And then finally we can set up a link. Where does this sponsor reside on the web? And this will set up as a varchar length 200. None of our sponsors should have a URL that's longer than 200 characters. So here we go, we'll set up our admins to do whatever they want with the table. Guests and registered users can view the table. Create, great, it's been set up. Now we just have to add some records and edit table info. So we'll do the table info first. Our slug, we don't have to touch, and this is because the default slug will be /sponsors, which is great. It's exactly what we want. Our short display will just be our name field, and again we'll set up with curly braces. Our preview displays we can actually use for this. It will be useful. It didn't make sense to use any sort of preview for our pages table because we don't want a short blurb of our pages. We want to show the whole page in its entirety. With sponsors though, we can use the display page for generic "please visit our sponsors" prompt, where the users can then go and get more information about a specific sponsor that they may be interested in. So for our before field, and again this is any HTML that you want to display before all of your sponsors, we'll set up a basic paragraph tag, p tag, with please support our sponsors. For the actual display, we'll again use a p tag, and we'll say maybe a short description, or actually we'll use a link first. And you'll notice link within percent signs. That will actually generate a link to the specific record. It is a reserved syntax. Whenever you're in the table's structure, you can always use a link, and it will know to link directly to that record. And we'll follow that up with our short description. Great, and close our p tag. After all of our prompts, after all of our sponsors, we don't need to actually display anything, so that can just stay blank. Our full page display, we'll use a h2 tag. Make sure. I'm not too great with the WYSIWYG editor, so I actually prefer text, if you couldn't tell, plain text. And again, set up the name within the h2 tag, followed up with our long description. And finally, please visit name here. And we can make here a link. And this time, we're using a link within curly braces because link is also a field that we have in our database. Great. Now for our next options, link back to table. In this case, we'd like them to be able to go back and forth, so that can stay. Row display max. This will control how many records you want to display on a page at once. When we are previewing, the default is 10, which is probably fine, but just for the purpose of demonstrating this functionality, we're going to set it to 2. And detailed menu options, we'll leave this off our menu for now, and we'll leave our description keywords blank for now. Great. So now that our meta has been saved, we can return, and we can add a new record. We'll go with a very original name of sponsor 1. A short description. We'll grab some more lorem ipsum text. And that actually might be a little too long, I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out. And for a long description, we'll grab a full couple pages, a couple paragraphs. Great. And for our link, we'll set it to example.com. Make sure that that's not null. Great, it's been saved. We can go back, we see it. Very large listing record, as you can see. And let's add another one. We'll call it sponsor 2. Short description here. And we'll add some more lorem ipsum text for the large description. And our link will go to example.org. Fantastic. And we'll add one more record, sponsor 3. Shorter. And this time we won't even bother, we'll just come up with a bunch of gibberish. With a site of website.com. Great. So, we can see all of our records here, 1, 2, and 3. Great. And now let's see what let's add this to our menu. admin menu. Again, go into tables and sponsors. Since our detailed menu options was not checked off, we're only able to link to our sponsors page. Great. Save it. Okay. Refresh the page. And here we go, sponsors. But that's all lowercase. Let's make it uppercase. Save it. Great. And there we go. So here you can see we have our first sponsor with that link. And if you notice, we have our short description that was set up. And we have sponsor 2. Since we set a limit of only 2 pages to display at once, we have a link to show the next. And we have the third sponsor showing. We'll click on the third sponsor, and here we go, sponsor 3 with all that gibberish text that we set up, with a link to please visit sponsor 3 here. Okay, now that we have some more content set up, we have a few more modules to help out with site administration. So we'll start off with paging. As you can see, an admin function hasn't been set up yet for this module because paging isn't a typical module. It's really more of a helper between paging and its widget, the paging table, which you've seen a bit with the tables administration. It's really just there to help limit rows, whether it's displaying only 10 records at a time, or as you just saw, only 2 records at a time. Next up, we have files. And as you can see, no files have been uploaded yet. This is a basic file upload prompt. We can go ahead, choose a file, and set up our turtle. Select a turtle with the title of turtle. Swim, turtle, swim. Upload, great. You can see that it was just uploaded now with the file of turtle. You click on it, and since it is a bit of an image, large image, it displays within an iframe. If you'd like to see the full image, you could go ahead and open it in a new tab or window. Great, there it is. And then you can either delete file or return to files. And then finally, we have users. Where do we have users? Here we go. And from users, you can do pretty much any sort of user, group, and right administration that you would need. We'll go in and click users first. So as you can see, I'm the only user listed right now. If we wanted, we could go in to here and we can update our email address or display name for other users' purposes if need be. We don't need to do that though right now. We could also set the groups. Since we only have a couple basic groups, there's no need to do this. However, if you have a whole bunch of groups with all sorts of different rights, you could move users around. So if there is a user who is just a normal registered user and you want to promote them to an admin, then you can go ahead and go through this prompt right here. And we can go back now. You'll also see that it has links to the various groups that the user is a member of, and you can click on there. Go ahead. And we have the registered user group, and the description of this is users who are signed in. And then finally we have a list of all rights that that group happens to have. So in this case, let's just see. We can registered users can view uploaded files. They can view the pages table and the sponsors table. And that's about it. A couple more regarding themes and viewing groups. I think you get the idea. And then finally we can return to groups administration. And there you go. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and if you see promise in this project, I hope you'll shoot me a message letting me know what you'd like to see support for, what you like, what looks like crap, all that good stuff. This project is far from finished, so please don't bash me yet for something that you feel is really basic. It's very possible it's on my to-do list. It just needs to be added to the official GitHub to-do list. Anyway, guys, thanks again for your time. I'll see you around.